Yeah,
Yes,
so
Mother.
yeah, so hair standing on end, right? Tears flowing from eyes, shivering and sweating at the same time, right? Laughing and crying at the same time. So these are all called Ashtasattvic Vikar, and these you can get only when you are in the ecstatic stage, as in bhava stage. Okay, not now. And Nityananda Prabhu always used to exhibit these symptoms. That means he was a treasure house of ecstasy, like powerhouse of ecstasy, right? Ecstasy of Krishna Prem, right? So, Prabhupada used to say, when you go and just touch the lotus feet of the Lord, or what do you say, of Nityananda Prabhu. When you worship Nityananda Prabhu, then you will also instantly get internal happiness and external happiness. Nitya Ananda, right? Eternal happiness. Nityananda Prabhu is the person who gives you eternal happiness, internal happiness as well as external happiness, which is eternal, and that is Krishna Seva. Krishna Prema is what is going to give you happiness, right? And that's exactly what is Nityananda Prabhu is going to offer us. So it's like electricity, he compares it to. When you get in contact with electricity, you get electrified, right? That's what Prabhupada is saying. You also get Krishna Prem instantly when you worship Nityananda. He is like a Balaram, right? He is Balaram. Bala means strength. So it's Nityananda Prabhu who is going to give us strength, both spiritual strength and physical strength to pursue our spiritual life, right? Like those who are serious in pursuing spiritual life, right? So there are 5 qualities which describe Nityananda Prabhu, and those qualities specially make him distinct. Okay, the position that we've given him in our not we have given, he is got in the parampara, right? It's because of these 5 main qualities. One is Chaitanyera Rasa Vigraha. Chaitanyera Rasa, right? He's always ecstatic. Like I said, always ecstatic. He's always drenched in Krishna Prem. Right? So when you pray to Nityananda Prabhu, you will automatically get that, absorption, or you will also get to taste Krishna Prem instantly. Very, very important. And then the second quality, like I said, Nitya Ananda. He is the one who gives us eternal happiness, both internally and externally. Okay, so very, very important to pray to Nityananda. Only then devotional service will start giving taste to us. Otherwise, you'll get bored. You'll be like, what is this? Very monotonous. I'm not getting any taste or interest in it. I'm not getting it's not fun, right? When do we feel all this? When we do not have that kind of taste, right? If you don't get anything, if you don't think you're gaining anything, that's when we start getting bored of it, right? So it's Nityananda Prabhu who is going to make it interesting, right? And then he is called Dhira, Mahadhira, in fact. Dhira is a person who controls all the senses, Goswami, right? Controls the mind, controls the senses. And the most common problem that we have is sense control, right? Lack of sense control. We cannot control our senses. Anything can provoke us, anyone can provoke us. Very easily we lose control, right? We lose control over our own senses, and it can become a very big loss in our spiritual journey for us, right? Like for example, Ekadashi, say you're fasting and you see your friend eating chocolates and all that, you get tempted, and you'll be like, oh, just one Ekadashi, if I break, what will happen? And you will also go take chocolates and eat. But it's a big loss for you, right? We instantly fall down when we do such things, right? It's all because of our own faults, right? Lack of sense control, lack of ability to control senses. And it's Nityananda Prabhu who is going to give us the strength to control the senses. So we need to pray to Nityananda Prabhu every day, not only on Nityananda Trayodashi. Got it? And then Parama Uddhama, Nityananda Prabhu is called Parama Uddhama. What is this feature? He is the one who is going to protect us from all negative influences or negative association, right? We see around us a lot of non-devotees or people who are not interested in Krishna consciousness, and when we go associate with them, if we are weak mentally or in our Krishna conscious level, if we are weak, we get influenced and we might become non-devotees, right? A negative association can even turn a devotee into a non-devotee, like Ajamila, right? He was a devotee initially, but looking at the prostitute, what happened? He became a non-devotee, right? Right? So it's Nityananda Prabhu who acts as the kavach and protects us from the influences of negative association with non-devotees and all that. Even when it comes to devotee circle, not all devotees are on the same level, right? lot of people, few people are exalted, few people are growing, few people have just started, right? So if you get influenced by, say, beginners or something like that, you will also fall down listening to them, right? So it's Nityananda Prabhu who is going to give us stability in mind, and he's going to protect us from all such influences. And then ekastane nahi stire. So Nityananda Prabhu is like Narada Muni. He keeps spreading Krishna consciousness, right? So he keeps traveling. He can never stay in one place, right? That means, so it's Nityananda Prabhu who is going to give us our services, right? Guru is the one who gives us our services, right? You do this, you do that. He assigns us, right? So it's Nityananda Prabhu who is going to give us our spiritual services, right? You do this, you do that, right? So a lot of people keep thinking, no, I also want to serve Krishna. We look at these temple presidents, sometimes we get inspired. Oh, so nicely they are serving Krishna. They are building temples. They are initiating so many people, as in taking so many people to the towards the path of Krishna consciousness. When am I going to do that? When am I going to even progress in my spiritual consciousness? Forget about other things, right? We all have these questions, right? It's Nityananda Prabhu who is going to give us our services, delegate us, do this, do that, right? So it's he who is going to make us an instrument in the propagation of Krishna consciousness. We need to pray to Nityananda Prabhu. Now do we understand the exalted position that Nityananda Prabhu has, right, in our parampara? So without Nityananda Prabhu's mercy, nothing is possible. It's like the levels, right, that we have. You cannot straight away approach the Prime Minister or the CEO of your company, right? It's impossible. So if you want to approach CEO, what you'll do, you'll go ask your manager. Your manager will ask his manager, manager's manager, manager's manager, manager's manager's manager. Finally, you'll get to see your CEO, right? Same way, Nityananda Prabhu is going to connect us to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is connecting us to Radharani. Radharani will connect us to Krishna, right? So Kunti Stuti, last, I think this is the last second class. Next class, we will finish Kunti Stuti, okay? Okay. शृण्वन्ति गायन्ति घ्नन्त्य अभीक्ष्णशा स्मरन्ति नन्दन्ति तवेहितं जनाः त एव पश्यन्ति अचिरेण तावकं भवाप्रहो प्रवाहो paramam padambujam. O Krishna, those who continuously hear, chant, and repeat your transcendental activities, or take shelter, take pleasure in others doing so, certainly see your lotus feet, which alone can stop the repetition of birth and death. Yeah, can anybody read the puppet? Hare Krishna. You can unmute and read. Yes, Ramya
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna Mataji. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
The Supreme Lord Krishna cannot be seen by our present conditional vision. In order to see him, one has to change his present vision by developing a different condition of life full of spontaneous love of Godhead. When Sri Krishna was personally present on the face of the globe, not everyone could see him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Materialists like Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, Kamsa, Jarasandha, and Shishupala were highly qualified personalities by acquisition of material assets. But they were unable to appreciate the presence of the Lord. Therefore, even though the Lord may be present before our eyes, it is not possible to see him unless we have the necessary vision. This necessary qualification is developed by the process of devotional service only, beginning with hearing about the Lord from the right sources. The Bhagavad Gita is one of the popular literatures which are generally heard, chanted, repeated, etc. by the people in general. But in spite of such hearing, etc., sometimes it is experienced that the performer of such devotional service does not see the Lord face to face. The reason is that the first item, Shravana, is very important. If hearing is from the right sources, it acts very quickly. Generally, people hear from unauthorized persons. Such unauthorized persons may be very learned by academic qualifications, but because they do not follow the principles of devotional service, Hearing from them becomes a sheer waste of time. Sometimes the texts are interpreted fashionably to suit their own purposes. Therefore, first one should select a competent and bona fide speaker and then hear from him. When the hearing process is perfect and complete, the other processes become automatically perfect in their own way. There are different transcendental activities of the Lord, and each and every one of them is competent to bestow the desired result, provided the hearing process is perfect. In the Bhagavatam, the activities of the Lord begin from his dealings with the Pandavas. There are many pastimes of the Lord in connection with his dealings with the Asuras and others. And in the 10th canto, the sublime dealings with his conjugal associates, the gopis, as well as with his married wives at Dwaraka are mentioned. Since the Lord is absolute, there is no difference in the transcendental nature of each and every dealing of the Lord. But sometimes people in an unauthorized hearing process take more interest in hearing about his dealings with the gopis. Such an inclination indicates the lusty feelings of the hearer. So, a bona fide speaker of the dealings of the Lord never indulges in such hearings. One must hear about the Lord from the very beginning, as in the Srimad Bhagavatam or any other scriptures, and that will help the hearer attain perfection by progressive development. One should not therefore consider that his dealings with the Pandavas are less important than his dealings with the gopis. We must always remember that the Lord is always transcendental to all mundane attachment. In all the above mentioned dealings of the Lord, he is the hero in all circumstances, and hearing about him or about his devotees or combatants is conducive to spiritual life. It is said that the Vedas and Puranas, etc., are all made to revive our lost relation with him. Hearing of all these scriptures is essential. Hare Krishna.
Hi, Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much. Very important purport. It has everything in it, right? So Krishna cannot be seen by our present conditional vision. So what vision is this that Prabhupada is talking about? We all have eyes, no? So we can see Krishna. Why is it so difficult? Who knows? What vision is Prabhupada talking about over here? Anybody knows? We all have eyes, no? Why are we not able to see Krishna?
But our vision is limited, no, Mataji?
Limited to what, Mataji?
We cannot see everything, no? So we have a spectrum, only that range is visible. So
yeah, that is one way. That is the material way of answering the question. Spiritual vision. So Arjuna, when during the Vishwarupa Sandarshana Yoga, okay, chapter number 11, Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna couldn't see the universal form, right? Because he was having the normal vision like us, the skin eyes, right? Charma Chakshu. So he needed Divya Chakshu, spiritual vision, spiritual eyes to see the universal form of the Lord. And then he got the spiritual eyes, and then only he could see the universal form of the Lord, right? After Krishna demonstrated his universal form, he took the form of Narayana, right? To see Narayana, again Arjuna had the spiritual vision or Divya Chakshu. After showing the form of Narayana, Krishna showed him the form of Krishna, right? His original personal form with two arms, right? Two-handed form. But Arjuna couldn't see that two-armed form, no? Initially. Why? He could see only after he received a particular kind of vision. What vision is that called? Anybody knows? So with spiritual vision, he could see the universal form, Narayana form. But he couldn't see the two-armed form. What vision do we need to see the two-armed form? Divya spiritual vision, Prabhuji. Divya Chakshu and spiritual is the same. No one knows? Love. All we need is love. Premanjanacharita bhakti vilochanena santa sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti yanshama sundaram achintya gunasarupam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Right, in Brahma Samhita, Brahma says, all we need is premanjanacharita bhakti vilochanena. right? Eyes smeared with love and devotion is what we need to see Krishna. Not any siddhi, yoga, etc., not needed. We just need love and devotion. That's all Krishna wants. And then we will be able to see Krishna's personal form. Spiritual vision, universal form we can see. But can we worship the universal form? No. Right? Or can we establish a relationship with the universal form? No. So many hands, so many legs, so many eyes, so many faces. Right? So what do we need to see Krishna as he is? We need love, right? Love for him, not for somebody else. Right? So that is premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena. We need eyes filled with love for Krishna, right? That's why Krishna Prem is needed. The moment you get Krishna Prem, the next stage is Darshanam. You get to see Krishna face to face. After Darshanam, the last stage is Harir Madhuryanubhava, right? You can exchange Krishna's sweetness. I mean, you can taste directly Krishna's sweetness. Can you imagine? That is the last stage. After that, there's nothing else left for you to achieve. So far, we understood only Krishna Prema is the last stage, right? Ninth stage. No. Harir Madhuryanubhava is the last stage, that is the final level, right? After that, there's nothing left for you to achieve in this life because you get to taste the sweetness of Krishna, Madhuryanubhava. You can get to interact with Krishna. You get to serve him directly. You can fall to his feet. You can massage his feet. Can you imagine? Right? You can give him food to eat, bhoga to eat, and you can take the remnants back and eat it as prasadam. Right? You can give him flowers. You can give him anything you want, and he will accept it. Right? He will accept it, and you can see him smiling and accepting your service to him. That is called Madhuryanubhava. There is a mutual exchange happening, right? So that is possible only after you get Krishna prema, after you have love for Krishna, right? How do you develop that love? How do you develop that love? That is through uh, hearing, right? It's given in the purport, right? How do you develop? Hear, chant, and repeat your transcendental activities. That is all we need to do. Shunvatam sakata Krishna punya shavana kirtanaha tadyantosto hi apadrani vidunoti satam. Right? Prabhupada's one of Prabhupada's favorite verses of Bhagavad Gita. Sorry, Bhagavatam. Right? This comes in second chapter, first canto, second chapter. Right, 17th shloka, if I'm not wrong. Shunvatam svakata Krishna punya shravana kirtanaha. Shrinvatam, you need to just hear about the Lord, hear Krishna Katha, hear about the stories of the Lord, messages of the Lord, right? And his devotees. Krishna is never alone, right? Krishna means Krishna and his devotees as well, right? When you just hear about them, what happens? Punya Shravana Kirtanha, just hearing and repeating them, right? Hearing and chanting, Shravanam and Kirtanam are in itself potential, okay? I mean, potent enough are in itself virtuous enough to deliver us, right? When properly heard and chanted, Krishna enters your heart, cleanses your anarthas, okay, cleanses your desires for material world, material enjoyment. And then after your anarthas are cleansed, what happens? Then you get um uh, loving devotional service. You start loving the service that you're offering to Krishna. Right now what we are doing is out of duty. Oh, my guru has asked me to do it, I'm doing. Oh, I need to get up. I will get up in Brahma Muhurtam. Right now we are doing out of duty. Okay, when anarthas get cleansed, when attachment to Krishna increases, you start loving what you're doing. That is loving devotional service, right? After you love what you do for Krishna, right? Loving devotional service, all the obstacles on the path of you going to Krishna, whatever obstacles are there, Krishna himself will remove them. You will not even feel that anything is difficult for you to do, right? When it comes to seva for Krishna, right? When the obstacles are removed, then Nishtha develops, firm faith, then Ruchi, then Asakti, right? Then Bhava, Prema, then comes Darshanam. You will get to see Krishna face to face, then is Madhurya Anubhava, right? So that is the highest stage. And what is the starting point? Hearing. Shravana the Shuddha Chittam. That's all. Shravana Adi. Adi, the beginning point or starting point is to hear about the Lord. You don't even have to hear with rapt attention, attentively, or anything as such. Just hear. However possible, just hear. Okay? When you constantly hear, when you make that a habit, when you make that a part of your life, then that sincerity comes automatically. Then you will yourself notice, oh, I'm hearing with rapt attention. This was not there before, right? You will yourself start observing the changes. that means Krishna has started the cleansing process in your heart, right? All he wants to see is how regular you are, right? And how sincere you are. Your attempts need to be sincere. All of us do mistakes, all of us fall down, all of us get back to our on our feet, right? But how sincere is your attempt? All that is what is going to matter, right? And yeah, and never give up, right? In Krishna consciousness there's nothing called repentance, right? In Nectar of Devotion, Rupa Goswami says, right, I mean Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, he says, when you make a mistake and when you fall down, there's nothing there to repent. There's nothing called punishment or anything as such in Krishna consciousness. Okay, so what do you do when you know that you've fallen down, when you know that you've made a mistake? What do? You intensify your devotion service. That's all you're supposed to do. Okay, if you are serving with a particular level of enthusiasm, you need to double it. Okay, after you know that you've made a mistake and you've fallen down, you need to double your enthusiasm, you need to double your sincerity, you need to double your love for Krishna, you need to double everything, right? And you need to do it in such a way that that positive energy should dominate over all your mistakes and whatever you've done, right? That is the only solution in Krishna consciousness, and you need to be sincere enough. And main thing is, do not repeat the mistakes that you've done. Got it? First step is understand that what you've done is a mistake. That is very important. If you don't even understand, if you start keeping on, saying, no, I didn't do anything wrong, it just happened. Even after doing something wrong, you'll be like, you know very well it is wrong, and you still do it, and then you start defending. That is not wrong, right. Okay, that attitude has to change. Then everything will fall in place automatically. And say you really don't know what you've done is wrong, when somebody comes and explains it to you that it is wrong, at least then accept your mistake, right? What has happened. But what are you going to do in future? You need to double your enthusiasm. Like I said, you need to focus. The focus has to be more intensified. Okay, the goal is Krishna, and the focus has to be more intensified, and that's all we need, right? So when hearing process is perfect, everything else falls in place automatically, right? Chant more, hear more. That's all we can do, right? Those are the Krishna conscious activities that we have, and do them properly, right? And next, apyadyanasvam svakreti hita prabho jihasasi switsuhrido anujivinah yesham na chanya bhavata Parayanam Raksasuyujitam Hasam. O my Lord, you have executed all duties yourself. All are you living? Are you leaving us today? Though we are completely dependent on your mercy and have no one else to protect us. Now when all things are at enmity with us. Can you read the purport? Anybody? Yes,
The
Prabhuji.
Pandavas are most Hare Krishna Madam. The
Hare
Pandavas
Krishna.
are most fortunate because with all good lucky they were entirely dependent on the mercy of God. In the material world, to be dependent on the mercy of someone else is the most sign of the misfortune. But in the case of our transcendental relation with the Lord, it is the most fortunate case when we can live completely dependent on Him. The material disease is due to thinking of becoming dependent everything, but the cruel material nature does not allow us to become independent. The false attempt to become independent of the stringent laws of the nature is known as material advancement of experimental knowledge. The whole material world is moving on its false attempt of becoming independent of the laws of nature. Beginning from Ravana, who wanted to prepare a direct staircase to the planets of the heaven down to the present age. They are trying to overcome the laws of nature. They are trying now to approach distant planetary systems by electronic mechanical power. But the highest goal of human civilization is to work hard under the guidance of the Lord and become completely dependent on Him. The highest achievement of perfect civilization is to work with the valor, but at the same time depend completely on the Lord. The Pandavas were the ideal executors of the standards of civilization. Doubtedly, they were completely dependent on the goodwill of the Lord Sri Krishna, but they were not ideal parasites of the Lord. They were all highly qualified both by personal character and by physical activities. Still, they always looked for the mercy of the Lord because they knew that every living being is dependent on the by constitutional position. Their perfection of life is therefore to become dependent on the will of the Lord. Will of the Lord are called sanata, are those having someone to protect them. Therefore, we must try to sanada so that we can always to be protected from the unfavorable condition of material existence. By the deluding power of the external material nature, we forget that the material condition of life is the most undesirable perplexity. The Bhagavad Gita therefore directs as it is 7.19 that after many births, one fortunate person become aware of the fact that Vasudeva is all in all, and that the best way of leading one's life is to surrender unto him completely. That is the sign of Mahatma. All the members of Pandava family were Mahatmas is in household life. Maharaja Yudhishthira was the head of the Mahatmas and Queen Kunti Devi was the mother. The lessons of the Bhagavad Gita and all the Puranas, specifically the Bhagavata Purana, are therefore inevitably connected with the history of Pandava Mahatmas. For them, separation from the Lord was just like the separation of a fish from water. Srimati Kunti Devi therefore felt such separation like a thunderbolt, and the whole prayer of the queen is to try to pursue the Lord to stay with them after a battle of Kurukshetra. Although the inimical kings were killed, their sons and grandsons were still there to deal with the Pandavas. It is not only the Pandavas who were put into the condition of the enmity, but all of us are always in such a condition. And in the best way of living is to become completely dependent on the will of the Lord and thereby overcome all difficulties of material existence. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Yeah. So, this is also very nice. We need to be entirely dependent on the mercy of the Lord. Why? Because Krishna is the maintainer, right? Goptrutva Varanam Tata. One of the symptoms of surrendering to the Lord. One of the 6 symptoms is Goptrutva Varanam Tata, considering Krishna to be the maintainer and not anybody else, right? Yeah, we all go to office, we get salary. We are thinking our CEOs will pay us the salary. Who is paying the CEO? Krishna, right? Ultimately, the source is the Lord, right? So we need to do our job, but at the same time depend on Krishna as well, because we devote our results to the Lord, right? We don't depend on what we work for Krishna, so the results are also devoted to Krishna's lotus feet. So what we get in return is Krishna prasadam, okay, not what we earn, it's what we are given by the Lord, right? So that should be the attitude of life. So do not depend on anybody else. It says no, it's the utmost sign of misfortune. Depend on the Lord. He is the maintainer. Animals are fed. Ants are fed. Will you not be fed? If you serve Krishna, if you devote your life to to serve the Lord, will He not take care of you? He says, no, Ananya Sintayantomam, Yijano Paryupasate Tesham, Nityabhayuktanam Yogakshemam Vahamiham. 9th chapter, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, right? Ananya Sintayantomam, if you think about me all the time, Ananya Sintayantomam, Yejano Paryupasate, and you worship me all the time. Yeah, right? If you think about me all the time, if you worship me all the time, then what I'll do, I will tesham nityabhayuktanam. You need to do it every time, not once in a year or once in a month. Regularly, every day, always, all the time. If you think about him, if you worship him, then yoga kshemam vahamyama. I will lack what you I will supply what you lack and preserve what you have, Krishna says. Right? What more do we need to survive in this material world? Right? We just need what we do not have, and we need to preserve what we already have. And Krishna is doing it for us. So when he is taking care of us, we don't have anything to take care of. He is completely taking care of us. So now we need to engage our mind only to serve him. Right? Only to serve him. Doesn't mean you need to quit your job and sit at home. Work for Krishna. Go to office for Krishna. Do anything and everything that you're doing for Krishna. Right? If you leave your job and sit at home, then Prabhupada says, no, parasite, ideal parasites of the Lord. We shouldn't become ideal parasites of the Lord. We need to work in Pandava's mindset. Right? They never said, Arjuna said, I will not fight the war initially. But later on, he also understood, right, the real knowledge, the real tattva, and he said, I will fight, leaving the results to Lord. Because he was fighting for Krishna, to serve Krishna, Krishna helped him, right? Krishna helped him every step, kadam kadam, like every step, Krishna helped him, right? So, and they won the war, right? We need to do our job. No using shortcuts like Ravana, right? Ravana prepared staircase. Directly, he wanted to prepare staircase to heaven. Whether you do sins or whether you do pious activities, you will be eligible. You just take the steps and you'll go to heaven. That is not right. Right? We need to get what we deserve. Not everybody will desire everything. Are you? You need to ask yourself, do I deserve my desire? Right? You need to deserve it. So Ravana's idea is really wrong here, right? So Prabhupada compares it with the today's human civilization, no? Making spacecrafts and all that to moon and other planets, so many other planets, right? So it's it's uh, it's just waste of time. What is our position, right? What does Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describe a living entity's position as? What is our real identity? Anybody knows? What is our real identity? No one knows. We've discussed this so many times. Jivera Swarupa hai Krishna and Nitya Das means what? Yeah. Haribol, I got an answer in the chat. Right? Yeah. Very nice. To serve the Lord. That is our eternal position. Eternally, we are servitors of the Lord. Jivera Swarupa. That is our Swarupa. What is our position? Identity is Krishnera Nitya Das. Nitya means always. Eternally, we are servitors of Krishna. Right? That is our position. Doing anything else which is not going to serve the Lord or which is not going to help us serve the Lord is just utter waste of time. Okay, we are misusing our life that is given to us, right? Because we are doing something else, right? That's why devotee association is very, very important. Because when you're associating with devotees, we keep Krishna in the center, right? And we glorify him, right? We engage in activities that glorify him, and that way we serve the Lord, right? And if you're doing something else in devotee association, then it's not devotee association, right? I mean, it's very natural. It's very simple. When two devotees are together, when a group of devotees are together, what happens there? Krishna Katha. When two devotees sit and gossip about some other devotee, then how do you even call yourself a devotee? So this way we need to be very conscious in what we are doing, right? You might be associating with a devotee, you might be talking to a devotee only, but what activity are you doing? What are you talking about? Right? Are you talking about some other devotee, I mean gossiping way, or you're talking about, or you glorifying a devotee so that you will also learn from and please the Lord, right? That matters. So it's not about associating with a devotee, it's about what you're doing in association with a devotee that matters, right? So Prabhupada has set a high standard in devotee association, right? We talk about Bhagavad Gita, we learn Srimad Bhagavatam. It's always Krishna Katha, Krishna Prasadam, Kirtan. Even if we talk about anything else, it's all related to Krishna Seva only. Right, like morning walk videos are nice. Okay, lectures, Prabhupada's lectures, and he used to go to morning walk. One day, what he saw a van. Okay, and then he saw a van, and everybody he started praising that van. Okay. So everybody is like, what is Prabhupada doing? He's glorifying a material object. It's after all a van, right? Then Prabhupada said, you all can see just van. I can see a carrier that can contain my books and sell it to people all around the world. Can you imagine? Right? So his idea, Prabhupada's idea was we can use vans to distribute books, right? For book distribution. We can load the books in the bundles and bundles of books in those vans and take them along to distribute the books, right? So a van might be material, but because you're connecting it to Krishna Seva, van is also spiritual, right? Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yukta Vairagya Muchyate, right? Rupa Goswami says in Nectar of Devotion. So that is very important. This way you are always connected with the divine, right? You're always connected with the divine. So here also it says, no, when you falsely become dependent on somebody else and not the Lord, you are still anatha. Even if you have 100 people to take care of you, you are still anatha. Anatha means orphan, right? And even if you don't have even one person to take care of you, but you have the Lord with you, you are sanatha. Sanatha means you have someone to protect you, and you have the supreme protection to protect you, right? What more do you want in life? Right now, coming to the point, she says, right now Krishna is almost ready to go to Dwaraka. He was almost on in the chariot, right? He was starting to Dwaraka, right? So now Kunti, we have come to the end, no end section of Kunti Stuti. So now Kunti is like, you're leaving us and going, right? So she is now feeling that um she's it says no over here thunderbolt. She feels like as if thunderbolt has separation is like thunderbolt, right? Why? Because now she's feeling anatha. That anatha feeling is there for her because all the other kings are envious of the Pandavas. Now what will she do, right? There is nobody to protect them, right? That is the because they are completely dependent on Krishna's mercy and no one else. They do their duty and then they seek Krishna's mercy. They do not sit idle and say, Krishna help me, Krishna help me. No, right? They do their duty and then see Krishna's mercy, right? So that way they are completely dependent on Krishna, plus they are doing their duty as well. So that is very important, right? That is the right attitude. So now the moment Krishna is leaving, a lot of times this happens, no, when the person is right with you, right next to you or with you, you will not feel any kind of bond or relationship or anything. The moment that person leaves, you'll be like, oh my god, some like your mother, say she's going out of station, say for months together, right? You'll when your mother's there at home with you all the time, you'll be like, she is there, she is there. That's all, right? The moment your mother has to travel for 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, then you'll be like, oh my God, how will I live without my mother, right? That kind of feeling immediately comes in your heart, right? Same way, all this while Krishna was there with Kunti Devi. Now Krishna needs to go, right? And now her prayers also have come to an end. Now she's feeling that thunderbolt kind of separation. Can you even imagine? That's exactly how a devotee feels from Krishna, right? That's exactly the attitude of a devotee. So devotee is always why we here. We are separated from Krishna. We are all from Goloka, but we've come here because we are separated, right? Like how fish, when fish is separated from water, how a fish feels, right? We can see the fish quivering and suffering and all that, right? Same way, that's how a devotee feels. That is called Vipralamba Bhav. Who showed this Vipralamba Bhav? Anybody from the Puranas? Who showed? So many people showed this Vipralamba Bhav, right? The most exalted devotee of the Lord. Who is that? She also showed. Haribol, Radharani. Right? Radharani started going mad in separation and she started considering Bumblebee to be the messenger of Krishna and started talking to Bumblebee. Once she was scolding Krishna like out of love, right? Next time she started becoming sad and depressed because Krishna was not there. Then later on, immediately she changed her mind and she started praising Krishna. So she doesn't even know what she was doing. She was maddened by the love for Krishna, right? That's one person. Next, who else? Somebody else showed. Gaura Purnima is coming. Who showed?
Chaitanya
Vipralambava.
Mahaprabhu.
Haribol, very nice. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Where and how? Anybody knows? So many instances are there. One instance, do you know? Why did he go to Puri instead of Vrindavan? Ramya Mataji, Hari Bol, in Puri Jagannath, right? When he went to Puri, he saw the Lord, his voice was choking. He was like, he couldn't even say Jagannath. He was like, Jaga, Jaga, Jaga. And he fell unconscious, right? Again, he used to get up, he used to see Jagannath, he used to say Jaga, Jaga, not even Jagannath. He couldn't say full name also, and again, he used to fall unconscious, right? He was crying, and his body became pale. Color of the body only changed, right? The complexion changed. Those are the symptoms of Vipralamba Bhav, right? Intense separation, not separation, intense separation from the Lord, right? Because Radharani, Krishna, I mean, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna in the mood of Radharani, as in, and Jagannath is Krishna in separation from Radharani, right? So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is representing Radharani here, and Jagannath is representing Krishna. So, when both of them meet, what will happen? Right, Vipralamba Bhav is at a highest level, right? So that is called separation. That's exactly, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also said with Rupa Goswami, he was conversing one day and he started writing poems and all that. And then through the poem, he said that why am I even alive? You know, how am I, what he's saying is Krishna is not here. Now he's become Radharani. Okay, he's intensely in the mood of Radharani. He forgot that he's Krishna. And then he's saying, Krishna is not even around and I'm still alive. That means what kind of a devotee am I? Can you imagine? He's saying Krishna is not here on earth and I'm still alive. How can I be alive if I'm a devotee of Krishna? Can you imagine? That is called a devotee's attitude. You need to read Chaitanya Charitamrita. You need to read Chaitanya Charitamrita, because you need to read it. That's when you get the actual nectar, actual essence. Right? He's saying, what kind of a devotee am I if I'm still able to be alive without Krishna? Because devotees can never be alive without Krishna. Right? I'm just maintaining my body and living happily. Then I'm not even fit to be called a living entity, he says. Can you even imagine? Who is saying this? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What are we? Who are we? Right? So that's exactly what is happening here as well. Kunti Devi is also feeling separation from Krishna, right? And because of all the kings are now envious of Pandavas, and they might attack them, right? And although inimical kings were killed, their sons are there, no? So they can still attack them, no? Yeah. So and then that is the point here. Now I think we need to end here. Next class is going to happen. Any questions? We will finish this in the next class. Okay. And then we will start with Dhruv Maharaj prayers. That is also very, very beautiful. Any questions, anybody? No questions? Everything is clear? Nityananda prayers. What exactly is the question, Mataji? The 5 qualities?
No, Mataji, any prayers we can say daily for Nityananda Prabhu?
Oh, Panchatattva
You can tell
mantra
me
is
next
there.
class, no problem.
Yeah, I'll check, Mataji. Panchatattva
Okay,
mantra is there. I'll let you know. Okay.
okay, thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Anybody else? No questions? Then we can end. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंतकोटि वैष्णव की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining. We'll end the class. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, we can end the class and then the next initiation class can join. I mean later. Hare Krishna. Thank you.